Hello, my friend and earthly neighbor, and welcome back to another week of what I call Rocktober. And this week, things get a-rockin'. That's because the sun now moves into Scorpio and joins Jupiter for the first time in 12 years. It's time to upgrade your boundaries before time runs out. From my smartphone to yours, capturing in Denver, Colorado, this is your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a spiritual way to kickstart the day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Christopher Witecki. Welcome back, my friend. Namaste. Well, this week in the month of October, things do get a-rockin'. That's because we're in the harsh new energy of Scorpio. And since the sun is joining Jupiter in this energy, you can multiply this year's lessons by 10. So in this week's Namaste Today, I'm going to talk about how the sun in Scorpio for you is breaking new ground that you haven't faced since Saturn was in Scorpio about 3 years ago. And later in our tea time, we're going to talk about how the outer planets are causing a karmic storm. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is from Monday, October 23rd to Friday, October 27th, 2017. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Well, looking at the week at a glance, it is up, down, like an Aquarius glyph. Let's take a look. On Monday, it's cloudy, overcast, but futuristic, as 0 degrees rules the day, but a moon in Sagittarius calls to your story. On Tuesday, it's sunny and optimistic. Step 1, Scorpio rules the day, and the moon in Sagittarius plays to the future. On Wednesday, it's cloudy, emotional, with a chance of showers, as Capricorn makes you a little self-judgmental, and Black Lilith moves to step 28. On Thursday, it's sunny and learning, as the sun crosses Jupiter and expands your potential, and a moon in Capricorn grounds the energy. And then on Friday, it's cloudy again, with another chance of showers. Step 4 rules the day, and it's the first chance for breakdown. Well, looking at the week ahead, it does seem like it's going to be up and down. In our next segment, I'm going to talk about what you can expect this week and how you're breaking new ground. Taking a sneak peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week, Breaking New Ground. Now, when I say breaking new ground, I'm actually referring to our relationship to ourself, what I call our marriage. Right now, humankind is in a powerful transformative energy. It is known as Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto has an orbit of 249 years, so it does not reach the same sign for almost 250 years. Pluto is the sign of death and rebirth, and Capricorn is the sign of government, how we govern ourselves, how we make decisions, and how we allow institutions, such as governments, to govern us. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn was 1776. And on July 4th, 1776, Pluto was at step 28 Capricorn. Step 28, in my opinion, is I manifest. So on July 4th, we manifested a new government, a new way of governing ourselves, and a new way of allowing ourselves to be governed. And we call this democracy. It may interest you to know that the next time Pluto will be at step 28 Capricorn will be March 2022, which means we are just 5 years away from this human revolution. Why is it important today, Sensei? It's important today because this is the last time that Jupiter will be in Scorpio before this human revolution. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and learning. And when Jupiter hits a sign, we have the power and the resources to actually do the task. So this is actually, this next year with Jupiter in Scorpio, the last time the human race will have the resources to draw the necessary boundaries with themselves and with others. By the time Pluto hits step 28, we will have already drawn our boundaries. And so this particular next year is probably a huge pivotal year for you changing your life, and really it'll probably be the political setup for whatever human revolution we have. Now in this next coming week, the boundaries really do begin with yourself. And I myself have been learning this also. When Jupiter is in Libra, it was all about understanding where fairness is and where balance is. So in Jupiter in Libra, we kind of determined where the line should be. That doesn't mean we had the courage to actually draw the line, okay? And Jupiter in Libra is very flip-floppy. So we went to the left, we went to the alt-right, we went to Hillary, we went to Bernie, we went to Trump. You know what I mean? Like, we were all over the map as far as where the line should be, where we were happy with things. And we've been basically philosophizing it for about a year now. Now that the sun's in Scorpio, you're going to see people actually drawing lines. And I myself am already feeling this empowerment as well. For instance, I have learned in this last year that I tend to give much more than I receive. And the reason why I give much more than I receive is really not for outer reasons. You want to think that it's for outer reasons, like because I want to help the world, because I want to see the world a better place. But what I've realized is it's because I have a hard time drawing lines with myself, where I can't say no to my thoughts, or I can't say no to my emotions, or I can't say no to my personal guilt. And so in this next week, we're actually going to begin to say the word no to these different parts of our consciousness. And if you can say the word no to yourself, you'll have the power to say no to the world. So in this next week, we're going to break new ground. Break new ground with ourself, putting up emotional boundaries with ourself, and learning to have fortitude with ourself so that we don't get taken advantage by the world and get taken advantage by others. And I believe that the lines you draw with yourself in the next week will be the same lines that you were holding in March 2022. Now, before I dive into the week, I'll just say this. I do believe that things are going to heat up as far as this human revolution probably 1 year from now. Okay? And that will be when Jupiter enters into Sagittarius. When that point happens, we will now be expanding on all of our philosophies. We have all had our lines drawn. We will all have found the boundaries with ourselves, and we'll begin to move into the propaganda. And then Jupiter will move into Capricorn, and that's when things will really heat up, which is in 2019. So we are on countdown to this new human revolution, and it begins with breaking new ground with yourself this week. So let's go over the week and talk about where you're going to draw a line. And you may think reality moves slow, but it's going to start to move really fast, and I'll point it out. On Monday, Step 0 rules the day, and the moon will actually be in Sagittarius. So on Monday, you're going to be feeling the story you were born to live. And that's very important because this is kind of the setup. You're probably going to have maybe a little depression on Monday because I think a lot of us have been unhappy with the story so far. At least I have. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't seen the progress we've wanted to make. We haven't seen the things that we want to manifest. And so on Monday, it's going to be a weird day. Both the sun and Mars are at Step 0, so you're going to feel very low in energy. And with the moon in Sagittarius in the mid-degrees, in the second decan, you're going to be kind of feeling about, well, where's my life going? What's happening anyways? And this is going to be kind of like the pressure to say, okay, I need to draw some new lines, all right? So Monday is cloudy, but it's a little bit futuristic, and it's going to feel offline. On Tuesday, the sun moves to 1 degree, which is I love, and this is the day where you have to draw lines for your heart. Okay? And this is the only day where you're going to have the ability to really feel your heart and draw particular lines with yourself. So the line may be, I'm not giving my heart away to this thing anymore. I'm going to protect my heart from that person. I'm going to protect my heart from this situation. And that'll be the day to really protect your heart. The moon will be in the third decan of Sagittarius. So as you're protecting your heart, you'll be feeling out your future and feeling out how it may affect your life. So Tuesday will be an optimistic day and a positive day. And the sun begins to join Jupiter at this point, falling into the orb of Jupiter. So our learning is going to start to accelerate at a rapid rate. You're going to find that you learn really quickly and you have big breakthroughs. On Wednesday, it's going to be cloudy and very emotional. This is the day on Wednesday where you have to draw boundaries with your emotions. And I have to say, drawing boundaries with emotions is the hardest boundary to draw, okay? Because emotions want to be flowing and they want to be free. People tend to be either shut down or way too open with emotion, and it's very difficult to find that gray area. So on Wednesday, you're going to have to draw some boundaries with how much you allow yourself to feel a certain way, how much you allow something else to get to you. You know, a lot of times people think that when there's an outside influence that's hurting them, that they have to control it by controlling the outside influence. And that's not true. A strong soul prevents it from affecting them. That's what a strong boundary is that you don't let them get to you. You don't let certain feelings get to you. Now, the moon will be in Capricorn, which means you'll be stronger than usual for being able to make decisions about your feelings. But I think Wednesday will be a very emotional day. We have a lot of 13 energy on Wednesday. Mercury will be at step 13, which means there'll be some sort of a revolution with your thinking. And there will also be Venus at step 13 in Libra, which means there'll be a revolution in what you receive and what you don't. So Wednesday's probably the hardest day of the week. And Saturn is at step 24 at this point, which means we're now trying to ascend to live the philosophy of our birth and live the story we were born, not just think about it and theorize about it. So I would say Wednesday's the hardest day. On Thursday, the sun conjoins Jupiter. So this is the day where you'll have an aha moment, probably a revolution of understanding where you need to put up walls and also possibly where you need to draw lines with yourself. You know, in some cases, we let our heart get to us, or we let our emotions get to us, or we let our ignorance get to us. This is an idea of drawing boundaries with yourself to keep yourself from hurting yourself. And that's what the basics are here of breaking new ground. But on Thursday, I think is going to be the most powerful day because the sun crosses Jupiter and Venus will be at the Grandmaster step 15 of Libra, which means you will finally open up to true balance and true harmony with yourself, which is what we worked on the entire month of Sun in Libra and probably made very little progress. That's just because we didn't have really the tools to draw the line. We could see what was fair, but we couldn't put down our foot. And then on Friday, it's going to be cloudy with a chance of showers. And this can happen for one of two reasons. For people who are just completely asleep and who haven't been paying attention to the whole week, this could be a surprise breakdown for them. So for people who are clueless, they might have a door slam in their face. They might have something completely break down. Wherever they had a boundary problem with themselves or maybe with others, it'll probably break down. Okay, so Friday will be a lot of breakdown. A lot of people will slip on banana peels. With the sun conjuncting Jupiter, it means that it will probably go above and beyond. It'll be exaggerated. It'll be larger than life, whatever the breakdown is. And so many people will probably be breaking down. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of bad publicity or press on Friday. And also there's two planets, Mercury and Venus, both at step 16, which means heavenly influence is going to be very hard. And it's been my experience that when there's a lot of heavenly influence, it's because there's a lot of hell on earth. So God tends to come in when life is going hard. The other way Friday could go would be from someone who probably watches my show and knows this. Friday will be a point when you don't break down, but you break through. Okay, the breakthrough line is actually the same line. And so for those who were kind of aware of where boundaries need to change for themselves, probably on Wednesday, the step 2 day, by Friday, you'll probably get it. You'll probably have a breakthrough. And for people who are kind of riding the light and walking in the light, you might on Friday be finally ready to close the door on certain situations in your life, close the door on certain relationships in your life, and therefore you'll be the cause of somebody else's breakdown as you're going through a breakthrough. That's kind of how it's a double-edged sword. So this week is going to be a powerful week where we're basically learning to put boundaries up with ourself, with our heart on Tuesday, our emotions on Wednesday, our beliefs on Thursday, and then Friday, we finally put the line down where we belong. I don't belong in this relationship. I don't belong in this political party. I don't belong treating myself this certain way. Just to give you a peek on the weekend, Saturday will be the day when it all makes sense, and Sunday is the day where you open up to these truths. So in just 1 week, okay, it's going to be pretty dramatic. I believe we're going to break new ground with ourselves, and this is the first shovel of dirt to our human revolution. Now, that said, there's actually a lot of other energy going on. So go steep yourself some tea, and I'm going to talk about the karmic storms. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. This week's tea time topic is karmic storms. So in our last segment, I talked about how this week you are breaking new ground with boundaries with yourself. And this is also going to lead to some major karmic consequences. By karmic consequences, I mean, by breaking new ground with yourself, you're going to change the story you were born to live and change your karma. Karma is spiritual memory. So we as humans all have spiritual memory from past lives we've lived, and we tend to fall into the groove of that memory. Except, of course, when we use our free will and we respond differently and make new choices. When you respond differently and make new choices, you break through your karma. You break out of your cycle and you do something new. Now, this week, there are 3 planets that are all pushing for karmic change, and these are all slow-moving planets. The first planet is Jupiter, which I talked about in the last segment. Jupiter is in Scorpio, giving you the knowledge and the power to draw new boundaries. And this week, Jupiter will move from its home degree, step 3, to step 4. In fact, Jupiter moves to step 4 at the end of the week. So what that basically means is the work you do this week to draw new boundaries with yourself, Jupiter will reinforce and provide the resources to carry out by the end of the week. So Jupiter is helping everyone to break down their old boundary problems and break through to a new boundary structure. The other planet that's huge this week is Saturn. Saturn has been at step 23 Sagittarius for a long time, which means up until now we've been intellectualizing and trying to get our mind around what the story we were born to live actually is. But this week, Saturn moves to step 24, which means you're not going to think about it. You're going to elevate to that level, or you're going to fall down and repeat the last grade, so to speak. So step 24 is the step where people either rise or they return and go back. All right, so that's a huge karmic change, literally in the story you were born to live. And then the other planet that's changing degrees this week is Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, okay? Which means the rules behind the boundary drawing. As I mentioned in the last segment, Pluto is in Capricorn. Pluto has been at step 16 for a long time now. I'm not sure exactly how long, but step 16 was where we were trying to intuit, and that's to a 7, where the line should be, what the law should be. But now Pluto has moved to step 17 Capricorn, which means that you are ready to decide and commit to a new boundary and stick to it. And since it's in Capricorn, it means you're ready to decide and commit to a new law in yourself. So to put them all together, it is that you're changing your boundaries, all right? That means you're either ascending up or you're falling back to the last grade, and that means that you're going to finally make a decision about what your self-governing law is. Step 17, by the way, nets to an 8 with Pluto, which means it's the Grand Master step of Capricorn. Whenever you hit a Grand Master step, you reach a new plateau, you reach a new level. So, this is going to be a long one, but I'm going to go through all 12 signs and tell you what part of your consciousness you are doing each of these for. With Jupiter, where you're breaking down boundaries. With Saturn, where you're opening up to a new height. And with Pluto, where you're making new decisions that will last a lifetime. And let's begin, of course, with our Aries. Aries is breaking down their self-trust and their boundaries. So, basically, with Aries, it has to do with holding boundaries with yourself, and these boundaries you hold with yourself lead to whether or not you can trust yourself or not. So changing your boundaries with yourself, that will allow you, Aries, to open up to a higher meaning in life and a higher purpose for you. And if you do move to a higher purpose, then this new decision about law will be about your future. So you'll end up making new decisions about your future after moving up to the higher purpose and drawing boundaries with yourself, okay? Taurus. Tauruses are literally drawing new boundaries with themselves and their mirage, and that's true for me. I'll talk about it later in the show, but we are drawing new boundaries with ourselves and saying enough is enough. We can't let ourselves go to a certain level. By doing this, you're going to open up to a new transformation in your life. So this is going to be able to allow you to turn from a caterpillar to a butterfly, Taurus, by drawing these lines with yourself. And as a result, you will have new decisions about what your belief is in life and what your purpose is in life. So Tauruses draw lines with themselves, they transform themselves, and they end up having a new purpose in life. Geminis. Geminis are drawing new boundaries with their health and their daily life. So Geminis have to draw boundaries with their body and with the way they live moment to moment. By drawing those boundaries, you're going to transform to new relationships in the world. So you'll have new types of partnerships and new types of unions. By having new unions, you'll be ready to make transformations in your entire life. So once you have drawn those lines in the moment, you'll have new relationships and you'll have new change overall. That also means sex and intimacy too by changes. So many Geminis will be moving into more intimate relationships. They've stayed mostly heady. Cancers. Cancers, you're drawing new lines with Jupiter with your own relationship to your inner child. So a lot of Cancers allow themselves to be hurt, allow themselves to agonize over old relationships. So you're drawing new lines with your heart. By drawing new lines with your heart, you're going to be able to ascend the quality of your life, okay? And once you ascend the quality of your life, you're going to make new decisions about the types of people you get into relationships with. So by drawing lines with your heart, you upgrade your life and you upgrade your relationships to a higher level. Leos. Leos have a hard time drawing boundaries with their emotions. So Leos are going to draw new boundaries with their own personal emotions. By drawing lines with your emotions, this is going to raise the quality of love in your life. A very big deal for Leos. So the planets are saying you don't have great love because you don't draw good boundaries with your emotions. And once you have greater love in your life, you're going to make new decisions about the quality of your life and the quality of your lifestyle. So for Leos, drawing lines with emotions leads to higher love, which leads to a better quality life. Virgos, this is a huge one. You can hear this. Virgos have a hard time drawing lines with their mind, okay? Like they let their mind go too far. They obsess. They over-criticize. So if Virgos draw new boundaries with their own thoughts, okay, that's going to lead to a higher quality of emotional life. Turns out your thoughts are the reason why you feel bad all the time, Virgo. And once you have a higher emotional life, then you're going to be able to make new decisions about what love and personal dreams will be. So Virgos are on the path to serious joy by drawing new lines with their thoughts. Libras. Libras have to draw new lines with their self-worth. That's where Libras are super wishy-washy. They think that they're worth based on the other person. Once you draw new lines with yourself about what you're worth or what you're not, you'll then be able to ascend into a higher level of thinking, okay? You'll think on a higher level. By thinking on a higher level, you'll then decide for a new emotional quality of life. So for Libras, the karmic storm is draw new boundaries with self-esteem, you raise your thoughts and your attitude, and then you have a higher emotional quality of life. Scorpios. Scorpios have to draw new lines with their behavior, believe it or not. That's where Scorpios have some boundary issues. You've all had a Scorpio lash out at you, right? Okay. So Scorpios have to draw new lines with the actions that they take or the actions that they don't take. Okay. Sometimes they do need to speak up. What this is going to do is raise the quality of their self-esteem because they've taken action that is appropriate for them. And after you raise your self-esteem, this is going to put you at a new level, a new decision-making level of your attitude. So Scorpio's attitude will correct when they draw boundaries, new boundaries with their behavior. Sagittariuses. Sagittariuses must draw new boundaries with their personal faith. So Sagittariuses are back and forth about faith. They have tons of faith when they're out drinking, then they have no faith the next day when they're hungover, right? So it's time to draw new boundaries with themselves when it comes to their faith. By drawing new boundaries with your faith, the quality of your character is going to go up. Once the quality of your character goes up, then you're going to have a new decision about what you're worth or what you're not. So in a nutshell, Sagittarius' self-esteem is based on the boundaries of their own personal faith. Capricorns. Capricorns are going to draw new boundaries about where they belong in the world and where they don't belong in the world. We all know Capricorns who want to take over the whole world, right? I've also known scaredy cat Capricorns who won't come up and climb the mountains. So it's time to draw new boundaries with yourself about where you belong in the world. Once you're clear on where you belong in the world, then the quality of your faith goes up, okay? And once the quality of your faith goes up, then you'll make new decisions about where your character really lies in life, who you really are and who you're not. And it all stems from where you belong or where you don't belong. Aquariuses. Aquariuses are going to draw new boundaries about what they want for their legacy. So bounding new boundaries about their decision making, okay? Some Aquariuses have been all bottled up, not letting themselves go out and do things in the world. Some Aquariuses have been trying to do everything and have watered themselves down. So when you make decisions where the boundary is about what you will decide on and what you won't decide on, this is going to allow the quality of your world to go up. So you're going to live in a happier world. You're going to find where you belong in the world. And once you find out where where you belong in the world. You're going to be able to make new decisions about what your real faith is and what your real faith isn't. So basically, Aquarius's faith is based on the fact of where they draw lines with their decision making and the direction they point their career. And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces are actually going to draw new boundaries with what they believe and what they don't believe. And Pisces tend to be kind of wishy-washy about their beliefs. You can almost see their philosophy changing from one night to the other in some cases. So when you make decisions about what your heart really believes and you draw the line, you say, this is it, you're going to find the quality of your career and your future go up. So it's going to allow you to ascend to where you really belong in your career. And after you ascend to where you belong in your career, you're going to make new decisions about where you actually belong in society. So Pisces have not been able to find the right fishbowl they belong in because they haven't been very clear about where their lines are with their personal belief and their life purpose. So as you can hear, we have a very powerful week. It may seem like you're simply drawing little boundaries with yourself, but what you're actually doing is setting up for two other huge consciousnesses in your life. And I believe that we're going to be working on this entire week, and then the following week we have a full moon, which is going to kind of be the cherry on top, which endorses this. All right, friends. Well, I'm so grateful to be of soul service with you. I want to give you a couple announcements. One thing I want to tell you is that I'm drawing a new boundary here coming up. I've been talking to my guides, and I'm going to be basically not doing any more new tea times here in the coming future. I usually do like 4 segments a week, and I've been playing a lot of repeats recently because I've been inside myself, working on myself. And one of the things I realized is I'm giving way too much away. So I'm going to be doing tea times only for my subscribers, okay, which I now call my contributors, the people who give back to me for the work I give. So this is an excellent time if you want daily advice and tea time and help with your ascension process. Give my personal Sensei service a try. It's only $3.99 for the first month. Afterwards, it's $19.95 a month. A lot of people say that's a lot of money, but I honestly don't believe that. For $5 a week, I am with my constituents 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and I'm working on their personal chart. We're at a time now with the universe where it's time for us to kind of huddle up and unite the light. And a lot of the things that my guides have told me is it's time for me to keep the information that I receive from them for the people who are most serious about it. Okay, so this isn't me being greedy at all because I don't really care about money. That's why I don't have wealth, all right? But I do believe that we should all get what we give. So if you're interested in this personal daily advice, please join my service. You won't regret it. It's a great service for actually a very fair price. Ask anyone who's a subscriber, they would agree with it. I do have, however, for free, a club on the internet where everyone who is a light walker can rub elbows and come together. If you're interested in joining our club, come to namastetoday.club. And in the future, what I plan to do is have my weekly show on Mondays, and then I'm going to come back with Friday Live on Fridays. So I will be here 2 times a week for the general public, and I'll be here 7 days a week for my contributors. I hope you have a good experience this week drawing your boundaries with yourself. I'll be back next week when we begin to draw the boundaries with the outer world. Until then, remember, I do love you, and to live, love, be.